You are now tuned in to the Project 365 experience.
All right, so welcome back to the Project 365 pod. I am your host, Coach O. I hope everybody is having a wonderful end of week. We got a great show for you guys. Today, we got one of my friends, a very, very good friend of mine, Antonia. She's going to come in, and Antonia is an athletic therapist. I worked with her when we were together at Vanier College. I was a coach, she was an athletic therapist, so that's going to be a very fun episode. We're going to talk about the importance of just getting started on your process. We talk a lot about on this podcast, we talk a lot about how everybody's process is different, but how do you just like get that little boost to just get started on the process? We're going to talk about how the pandemic affected all of our lives because it's our reality. It's our new normal and we have to adapt to it. And we're going to talk about pizza. What is Antonia's favorite pizza? Let's stick around for you to find out. In our Chalk Talk section, we're going to talk about the 4 phases of the game. Okay. I know a lot of people are learning the intricacies of the game. So you got some free game in the Chalk Talk section. So stick around for that one. And in our Brain Juice section, we're going to talk about preparation. What is it? Why should we use it? And how should we apply it? And how will it benefit us? It's a great one. It's a great one this week. Hope you guys enjoy. And let's hop right in with our interview with Antonia. Let's go. Let's do it. Yo, so how has everything been? Like, man, how has everything been? So good to see
you. Likewise. Everything's been good. The clinic has been rolling ever since that sports have started up again. I've been really excited that sports have restarted. Obviously, business was slow during the pandemic, but I'm really grateful now that everything is back up and running. And things are rolling. Things are rolling. How about yourself?
Well, the same. Things are rolling. Like the word you use. I like it because like at the end of the day, like when things are moving forward, like you can't really force things. You know, if they head one way, you kind of like roll with the punches. You know, so
you have no choice.
Yeah. We're sitting on a moment here, and I think like over the span, that's why I reached out to you. I think over the span of the next year, I think like there's really going to be like 100 of people that I'm sure are going to listen to this, and they're going to be able to benefit from this. So,
I really hope so.
Let's go back. So we've been talking back and forth since the pandemic. We're talking about how things have changed and everything. So I want to know from you, what was the most challenging part, like being an athletic therapist, and you keep working on yourself, but also like what was the most challenging part about your job during the reset?
I think that's a really good question. I think the most challenging part was obviously realizing that without sports, like not that you don't have much of an income, but it definitely jeopardizes your income a little bit. So then you kind of just have to rely on your skills in clinic, right? And what you can do. And there's a lot of self-doubt, I feel like, when doing that, because you're just like, am I doing this right? Like now I'm doing full-time clinic, like I don't have sports to fall back on. Right. So you really have to trust in yourself, like your patients are going to trust in you as well, right? So I think bringing everything online was kind of the hardest thing. Like, listen, I'm not saying I'm 100 years old either. I'm 27 years old. So it wasn't super difficult, but I just feel because I really want to have that raw, authentic feel on my page, and I don't want it to feel like too fake. Putting myself out there was something that was really difficult. And that conversation, that moment that you're talking about, when I messaged you, or rather you had messaged me a while back, and you were like, we need to see more of Antonia. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like Coach O is telling me that he needs to see more of me. Like, I need to do something about this. Like, I've been told, So it was always in the back of my mind. And that, I feel like, sort of pushed me when we started having that conversation. And I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be done. So then I've been posting more and more on social media, and just starting and just taking that leap in, because you're never going to be ready, right? The biggest thing is that if you're waiting to be ready, you're going to wait a lifetime to be ready, and then there goes your whole life, so you kind of just have to like trust yourself and know that people are supporting you, whether you're aware of it or not, and then just jump into it. And then like we said, the ball is going to get rolling, right? Once you do one, then two starts. It's like taking steps, like walking. You take one step, then two steps, and three. And even sometimes if you take a few steps forward and there's one step back, that's okay, because it's all a learning process. It's all learning.
You're giving me goosebumps, man. Like, it's just like I'm that's the biggest part, I think, for me. Like, I think a lot of people kind of like go through this situation where they're like, nah, I can't really do it. It's not that. But I think that I think I'm optimistic to a fault, where it's like I believe in people so much.
But that's great, because people need that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Greatness happens outside of your comfort zone. If you're comfortable, it's because you're riding the coast and you're like, hey, well, when's the next wave? Like, you need to hop on that, your surfboard ready, like to just ride with it. So greatness happens outside of outside of your comfort zone, because if you're staying comfortable all the time, like, it's not great. And I've had so many friends who have opened up their small businesses, and some of them are like, oh, well, I'm so nervous to like go full time. Like, how did you do it? And I'm like, you just got to jump into it.
You just got to do it.
You just got to believe in yourself, because the reason why they're scared is because life is hard, right? But
it's tough.
Success is hard.
Yeah.
Failing is easy.
Yeah.
Because you fail and that's the end of it. But if you're successful, then there's expectations. So then these expectations kind of weigh down on you, but you just have to believe that you're always going to keep making those expectations, because there's only one you.
100%.
And that's what makes all of us special, is that there's just one of us. You're
going about what I like. This is what I preach the most. Like, when people go into like teams, right? Like, it's so easy for people to just be, I'm going to try and be this person because I've seen this person have success and stuff like that. What I always tell people is that, like, you're never 100% going to be able to be somebody else, but you could always 100% be yourself, right? And to me, that's the biggest thing. So, let's talk about this. Like, in you being in athletic therapy, and you develop this relationship with your clients, and what's the technical term? It's not is it patience? Patience. Okay. I want to use the right terms. Okay. You develop this relationship. You develop this relationship with your patients, right? So, what is it kind of, what sets you apart, I guess, from what you're saying? Because like you're saying, like, a patient could go anywhere they want, right? What makes them want to keep going to you?
That's a really good question. I think it's just my passion. Like, they see how much I love my job, and all of my patients are always like, wow, you really like what you do. Wow, you're so passionate, because I give the explanations as well. I think what sets me apart from most people is that some people, like a lot of different clinics, like, you'll come in for your session and then they'll book you the next week, and then they'll book you the week after, and I'm like, so then when my patients come to me, I'm just like, okay, well, what did they say that you have? Like, what's your injury? Oh, well, I'm not sure. Well, what do you mean? They didn't tell you? Well, not really. I'm like, so then if you didn't know why you were injured, why did they book you all of these other weeks? Oh, well, they just told me to like come back.
Okay.
I think like that makes no sense to me. Like, why are they telling you to come back? So I think what sets me apart from most people is that I'm real with my patients.
I like that. Right?
I'm not, I'm like, I don't need to see you 3-4 times a week. I don't need to see you every week. If I don't need to see you every week, why should you come in?
Yo, I like that. Yo, it's just like me. Like, I think that's the approach that helps, because, like, I think for me, like, I take my role, right, as a coach, and I tell my players, like, what I would like is for my players to not need me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like they don't need me. Just trust that what you're telling them is right. And then eventually they don't have to need you. But I think like a lot of times, like if you're doing stuff for the wrong reasons, you kind of like get people to have to rely on you, and you're not maximizing the opportunity that you have at hand.
Because that's money.
Yeah.
Those are people who are in it for the money. Listen, I'm not saying I don't love money, you know, like I like
We all
to
do.
live. You know what I mean? Like we need to live at some point, you know, but I really base my values on giving an affordable treatment for people. Like I feel like my prices are quite fair because people need to get treated, but they don't want to go because either don't have insurance or they can't afford it. So they're living a life in pain. And actually, it's funny that we're talking about pain right now because my shoulder is actually killing me, and I just came back from treatment myself, and I've been miserable all morning. Like I have not been a nice. Like I haven't been mean, but I haven't been like the greatest time. So if people are living in pain and they're not living in happiness, well, then that kind of sucks. Like we only have a certain amount of time on this planet, right?
Yeah.
We make the best of every day. But if you're living in pain, it's not fun. Like some people that come into my clinic, they'll come in and I'll know them, right? Because a lot of them are girls are my friends. And I'll see that change in them. They'll come in and they'll be like kind of rude, but not on purpose. Right. But I recognize that. I'm just like, okay, like, it's fine. They're kind of like having a moment. We're going to figure out what's wrong with them and whatever. So then I get to the cause of the problem and I don't just treat the symptoms like, again, a lot of people do. And then at the end of the session, they have this huge smile on and then I have my friend back. You know what I mean? So it's also about separating like that personal and professional and just understanding that people in pain, misery likes company, right? So people who are in pain are going to want other people to feel that pain with them. But I would like to get them better.
No, you're getting them to be the best. You got to be the best version of you. I guess like you're saying is like pain kind of like keeps you from like being authentic because there's other things on your mind. And you need
to take care of yourself at the end of the day. To be the best version of yourself, you need to take care of yourself in all aspects, not only nutrition, not only going to the gym, but spiritually as well. I feel like COVID has opened up a lot of doors in that sense that I'm gonna keep putting it on me because I just like
put it all the way.
But when it hit in 2020, I thought I was already working on myself until I realized I was not working on myself at all. You know what I mean?
I tell people that 2020, like the pandemic, was probably like the best thing that ever happened to me. It took me all the way out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, it definitely had its pros and cons, right? But I feel like it definitely helped a lot of us realize that, you know, we're not living to our full potential, or I could be working on this a little bit more and I could be more compassionate in here and I could be putting more work here and oh, maybe I should take a day off because I deserve a day off because I work so hard, you know? Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay. So it was definitely a blessing and a curse, right? Like obviously on the aspect of the financials, it was a little bit more difficult for a lot of us. But then a lot of us realized we could work from home. We spent more time with our family. Wow, I actually really miss my family. Wow, I actually really love my family. Is this something that we could do more often? And a lot of companies now, they're like, oh, well, we're saving on energy. We're saving on expenses. Stay home.
So stay home.
You know, so I think it just opened up a realm of new possibilities that we didn't know were there. And you're either going to seize the opportunity or you're going to let it slip.
You're going to let it slip. Look at her. She's just preaching right now. I like that.
Well, I've also been listening to a lot of podcasts.
That helps. That helps 100%. That helps. That helps.
So,
Because me and you, we've been, like you said, we've been talking and like, I've been seeing like some of the stuff that you're doing. And I'm like, yo, we need to see. I said, yo, Tony, you got to put more stuff out. You have to. You got to put more stuff out.
We've always been on the same wavelength since Vanier, though.
Yeah. No, for sure. From then, it's funny how like things come full circle. Because I think like when we were at that point, we kind of like both started off in the field that we wanted to go to. And then we're heading into our field. We're specializing now, but then it kind of like lead that same push. But what we realize is just that the process for both of us, even though the fields are different, sports is the main catalyst, but even though the fields are different, like the process remains the same. Like be yourself, right? As much as possible. I really, really, really like, I want to be nice to people, be kind. I want to make that cool again.
Yeah.
Because I think like now, like I talk with a lot of younger people, a lot of teenagers, and then they kind of think like they have to be mean and like, or whatever. And I've worked for like bosses too that think like they got to you gotta have as much fear as possible, put as much fear in them, and that's gonna make them work better. You know what I'm saying? And
that's a front.
Yeah.
That's not being your true authentic self, right? Because nobody inherently wants to be mean.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that you're taught. We all inherently have that love and that compassion for other humans, and more often than not, we do want to help others. But yeah, that meanness, I agree. If there was more people who are like nicer and kinder in the world, it would be such a better world.
Yeah, it would. It would. I just like how full circle like everything like came.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this. This is like gonna be a little bit more. So you're starting off a little bit to have a little more of an online presence, right? That is out of your comfort zone. That was out of your comfort zone, but like you're slowly going. So I want to know, what was the moment that made you want to go online?
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you're good.
The pizza just came. I'm so
sorry. You're good. Get your pizza. Get your pizza. Yeah. So when Antonia comes back, I'm going to ask her what the online, like she's going more online. So I want to know, what was the moment that made her push forward as she's ordering that pizza. Yeah, what was the moment that made her go online? You learned a lot. Me and Antonia, we were together at Vanier. We were on the same staff. She was our athletic therapist. I was coaching. And yeah, what did you order?
I ordered a meat lover pizza with, and then 1 cheese, and then a poutine because I've been craving a poutine.
Yeah, you treat yourself, girl.
Sometimes you have to treat yourself.
You have to.
That's part of the taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. So what was the moment that made you want to go online? What was the moment that made you want to go online? Like, I know there's like a moment.
Yeah.
And I want to know, like, now, what are the steps? Like, what are you telling yourself? What kind of mindset are you putting yourself in mentally to like keep...
Yeah. A lot of good questions today. But honestly, during COVID, there was a time where I could not sleep. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and I was like, just do it. Like your Nike hat, right? Like, just do it. I was like, I don't know what came over me. There was just this sense of like, you need to do this. So I opened up my Facebook page, I opened up my Instagram, and then my Instagram was a little bit weak for about a year or so. But I think what inspired me, and I know we shouldn't be looking at this stuff, but I feel like I twisted it in a way that like is a bit more inspiring, is my followers. Okay? So I was looking at my followers, and I'm just like, this many people believe in me. Facts. I'm like, so I have to show up for them.
Facts.
You know, and I've seen a lot of accounts. I didn't want to be an exercise-based account, but I realized that's where the demand is. So I'm like, that's what I'm going to do, you know? And it wasn't very motivating because I'm just like, well, if that's where the demand is, and that's what I'm going to do, well, even if I don't like it, whatever. But now I have a reason. My why is the people that are following me, right? And all these other accounts, some of them are nonsense.
Yeah, yeah.
But all these people, my 600 whatever followers, not many, but I'm like, these people believe in me. So that the first video I posted of exercises got a lot of hits. It got a lot of saves. It got a lot of shares. It got a lot of reposting on their stories. And people were like, we need more of this. So I'm just the people have spoken. I'm like,
the people
show up for the people. I'm like, the people want more. They want more of you. You know, they don't want... I'm like, they don't want more of anything else. They want more of you. So if I have the knowledge, then why not share that knowledge with the people? And I feel like that's where that's going to get the rapport built up for my clientele as well. And that's where my business is really going to grow, which is where that's that scary part, right? Because success comes with standards and expectations, but you just have to jump into it. So yeah.
So what are you, so now what are you, like, how do you keep yourself like consistent with it? Like, do you set goals for yourself, or you just like go with, I could tell, because for me, I'll tell you a little bit for me, like,
go ahead.
Like,
yeah.
You've always asked me like, yo, how do you do so much? Like, how do you make so much? Because it seems like I'm on everybody's page like all the time.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really like, so I think it takes self-awareness. Okay. Because for me, like, my biggest struggle is to be disciplined.
Yes.
Discipline is my biggest struggle, just discipline overall in like in life or whatever. So I figured like what works more for me is like when I could do something, I just do it. It's like when I get an idea, I just act upon it. And that's why like a lot of people, yeah, but I knew that's my weakness.
Yeah.
Like if I had to pick one thing for me, it's like definitely discipline. Like that's my weakness. So for me, it's like as soon as I have an idea, I just put it out there. As soon as I have a thought, I put it out there. You know, I try not to shy. Like I'm unapologetic,
Unapologetic.
yeah, about how I put stuff out.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But yeah, so
which is great because that's being true to your authentic self, right? You're being unapologetic of who you are. And why should you be apologetic of who you are? Because you're great.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
No,
so I want to know what it is for you. Like what keeps you like
well, number one is friends like you who check in on me, right? And send me that message and are like, girl,
get on this.
Get on this. We're waiting for you. The people are waiting for you, you know? But the other thing is, like I said, it's just getting started. So I told myself, I'm like, you know what, just one post a week, like start small, because it does give me a little bit of anxiety to like put myself out there. So
right.
If I'm in uncomfort, I'm not going to make myself uncomfortable 5 times a week. So I'm just like, a little bit of discomfort is okay, you know? So post at least one time a week. If you feel motivated or a little bit more disciplined that week, then post 2, you know? But it is acting on that moment that you're talking about. So I actually have a post coming this week for whatever happened this weekend. And I always told myself, I'm like, oh, just videotape so that you have like a bit of content, in there, you know? So sometimes not even about posting like right away, but it's like just getting it prepped and ready so that you have the tools to make it work later, right? So your future self is going to thank you whenever you're prepared in the moment, right?
Antonia, you're great, man. You're great. Okay. So how can, so this is my last thing.
One last point on that last one is I saw a quote recently and it said, it might be easy to let it go today, but tomorrow it's going to be more difficult. And it might be difficult to do it today, but it's going to be easier for you tomorrow.
Yo, repeat that for the people in the back. Oh my God.
Right? So if you let
that in my soul.
Yeah. Crazy. Yo. It's just so, it resonated so much. So if you let things slip today, it's easy on today, but it makes it harder for tomorrow. Versus if you do it today and it's difficult today, well, your tomorrow is going to be a lot easier. Yeah, I know. I have goosebumps myself now. I'm like, yeah.
Oh man,
crazy.
These are like the little unlocks, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I believe in that.
Quotes sometimes is all that you need. Like I have a quotes app that gives me. It's called Motivation, I believe. And it gives me these small quotes and these small moments. Again, we're just talking about moments, right? These small moments that make such a big difference.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I'm actually gonna give you like one tip that I think for me personally. What, your dog's eating your pizza?
No, she's eating something else, but I'm just leaving her because she's not bothering us.
You sure? Go get it. Is she in? No?
No.
Okay. So this is one thing that I learned. Okay. And I think for me, it really like stuck out. So I know at first I was a little bit uneasy about posting stuff on social media. Okay. So what I started understanding is that like, if let's say we take this bottle, right? I have this bottle right here, Fiji water. I have this bottle. Okay. You might have an interpretation of this bottle based on your own experiences. Somebody else might have another interpretation on this bottle based on their personal experiences. I have my interpretation on why I'm drinking Fiji water. So out of that one picture of Fiji water, there are 3 perceptions that came out of it. So in my mind, I'm like, I tend to be a perfectionist, you know, like I don't want to put this out or whatever. But then after I noticed that, like, yo, when you put it out, like at the end of the day, it's not up to me to decide whether it hits, whether it resonates with people or not. Like the audience will decide.
100%.
So for me, it's just like that was the one part I was struggling with at first.
Because if you can make a difference in one person's life, then you've done your job.
You've done your job.
We've done our job.
Yeah.
Right? If you can make a difference in one person's life,
yeah,
every single person matters, right? It doesn't. You don't have to have such a huge impact to have an impact.
Yeah.
Plus, impact starts small, right?
Small.
And then they start rolling.
Yeah. 100%.
Bring it around full circle, you know.
Around full circle. So, my last thing that I'm going to ask you is, how can online help you in your business, since it's very of a face-to-face thing? How can the online like help you, whichever way? Like,
Yeah, for sure. Well, business wise, obviously, it does help bring in a clientele. But if I am being true on social media and just being true to my values and what I want to post, and even if I think it's funny or whatever, so it just comes back down to being your true, authentic self on social media, because people know when you're putting a front. People aren't stupid.
mm-hmm.
Okay? Like a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
think like, oh, I could fool these people. No, only fools can fool fools.
Yeah.
But real recognizes real. So I think
Yeah.
it's just about being real, like all the time on social media, and then people are gonna feel that through my posts and stuff, you know. And I think it's also about diversifying a little bit on social media. So not only posting like pictures, but videos, and then sometimes posting about myself. Like even if I'm having a bad day, I could talk about that because that's being real,
Yeah.
right? I think there's a lot of times I had mentioned that, you know, like I had canceled my clients for the day, and like I feel like some people were like, oh, like why is she saying that? But because I wasn't feeling great, you know, and I want to be there 100% for my clients, not 50%. That's not fair to them, you know.
Yeah.
So it's always about being real.
Yeah. Do you feel like because I know in your field it's more like hands-on, right? It's
Yes.
very hands-on. So like is the information you're putting out on social media kind of like a way to kind of like extend your reach to, like, I guess, attract more people to be able to help? Or
yeah, I would say so. Like it's hands-on when they're in clinic, right? But the small videos that I post that are helpful, it just feeds them information. They're just like, oh yeah, that could help me. Oh, this girl knows what she's talking about. Like maybe if, and then they'll have me in the back of their mind, you know, if ever they have an injury, because people aren't injured every single day.
Right.
Well, people are, but like let's say the same people aren't always injured every single day. So sometimes they might not need me right away, but they'll have saved my post, and then when they go back later, or let's say they get injured, they'll be like, oh wait, Antonia, like let me go see her, let me message her, you know.
And
so it's about planting these little seeds, and then later on you're gonna get that growth. You know, you can't expect like to be huge overnight, you know. That's not how TikTok famous people, like some people get lucky and do that, but is it really luck, or were they just consistent and then their one video blew up? You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. So I think how online could help is by posting videos that are informational and helpful to people, and then they'll put their trust in me to come see me in clinic. Like
you're helping, and just like ultimately, I guess, like it could be to just get these people to, like, if they have little things that they could fix at home, like fix it at home. You don't need to come see me.
If it's a quick fix, then why not? I have given online consultations. There was this one girl at the beginning of the pandemic. She had started running. I had gone to high school with her, and she messaged me and she's like, hey, like my knees started really hurting, and like I don't understand why. I just started running, So I asked her a few questions, whatever, and then I was like, how old are your shoes? And she goes, oh, they're like about 5 years old. I go, is there a lot of wear and tear on them? She's like, yeah, they're looking pretty old. So I was like, okay, look, I'll give you a couple of exercises to help you maybe with the knee pain, but I'm like, I would change your shoes. It was just the shoes. The exercises were a bonus, but like, you know, it's just if we could fix these small little things. So by saying that on social media, and they're just like, oh wait, I do have this problem. Oh wait, maybe I'll try that. Oh, that was the cause of the problem. That's great. She's awesome. If ever I get injured in the future, I'll definitely remember her. You know?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. It's always about making a small difference, you know? Like I don't want people to come see me. Like obviously I do because I want to get paid, but like I want people to come see me because they trust me and because they know that I could heal them, right? That's where my name comes from, like heal therapy. So I want them to get better. I tell my athletes that all the time, because especially with football, these boys, I love them, but the lineup at the table sometimes is just absurd. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, do you like really, like you could be playing your sport, but you'd rather waste time on the sideline? Like, do you really love your sport then? You know what I mean? So I tell them, they're just like, oh, you don't want to see me? Like, I'm just like, no, I want to see you on the field being a baller. You know what I mean? Like, show me on the field what you can do. I don't want to see you on my table. If you're on my table, it's because something's wrong. You know? So I think
there's that misconception with athletes. Like they think like
it's cool to come see the physio.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like, no, it's cool if you're on the field showing your skills for these scouts that are watching you, because if you're spending more time on my table than on the field, then something's wrong, clearly.
And I think also, like with what you said, like by you planting those seeds, right? And I always say this, like Sometimes people are not ready to listen. And here's what I mean. I don't say listen in a negative way. I just mean like by you putting the information out, if the person is not going through something that makes them need that information, they're going to overlook it. They're
just not ready to hear it. Not that they're not ready to listen, but it doesn't register in their brain.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I totally get that.
Yo, I think that's the part. My friend, you're just your whole process and just like us starting from like where we started, man. Like it just makes me so happy. It just makes me so happy to just see. I think where can people like find you? Like where can people find you if people want to reach out?
Yeah, so obviously on Instagram, right? I'm on Instagram, heal.therapy_, and then my contact information is there, but usually by DMs there. And then my clinic is located in Ville Saint Laurent, on Henri Bourassa and Acadie, like really right off the 15. It's really not too far. And I might be opening a location in Laval come this summer. So we'll see, because there has been a lot of demand for a Laval location. So I'm gonna see if I can get that going. Yeah.
It is amazing when people that are having success. So again, I'm very happy for you, very proud. And great things are gonna come. Like keep inspiring, keep being you, and we'll definitely talk with each other.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch for sure. I definitely need my check-ins and be like, where's Antonia? It's like,
yeah.
Been a few days.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yeah. Appreciate you. Enjoy that pizza.
Thank you.
Enjoy that pizza. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yes, definitely.
All right.
Okay, bye.
All right, so we have our board over here. I'm going to try something a little bit different. So we are talking about the 4 phases of the game of basketball. So when people first start playing basketball, we have to be able to understand that there are different situations that all connect together. Okay? There are different times and periods that we're playing the game of basketball. And what we have to understand is that throughout the whole time that we are playing a real official game, right? You're always going to be in one of those 4 phases. Okay? So we're going to start with the obvious one, the one that gets the most highlights, the most attention. That's the one that once we first start playing, we lock in and we focus on. That is offense. Now, a lot of the times, especially when we have young players, they want to. It's where we get the most fun. We want to make baskets. We want to shoot. We want to make threes. We want to dunk. That's the one that gets a lot of focus, right? So we have offense. What we have to understand is that when we are done shooting the ball and the other team grabs the rebound, we now have to shift our mentality. We don't have the ball anymore. With that being said, if we have a court, right? Let's say we have a court like this. We play offense right here. We shoot. We have to get back to play defense, right? But before we get back to play defense, there's this phase right here that we have to account for. And that is us transitioning from offense back to defense, which means that this right here is called transition defense. Right? So, coaches, this is where you decide, are we crashing the glass? Are we trying to go grab offensive rebounds? Do we just send everybody back? Do we just match up? That is where all those decisions happen. Okay? And like we talked about, we finish playing over here, then we get down here, we're playing defense, right? So this is where a lot of coaches decide
what it is that they are going to, what kind of system they're going to implement. So do we have big bodies? Can we grab offensive rebound? Or maybe we're not as big. Maybe we got to get back and just match up and just play honest defense, right? So when we get back here, we are talking about defense. You guys are going to be pros when I'm done. There we go. We got defense. And now this is where maybe we play a little bit of zone defense. Maybe we just match up. Maybe we pressure up in the half court, right? Down here, we have our sets that we are going to be able to come up with as a team based on our strengths. Okay? Now, lastly, we have offense. Boop. We miss a shot. We shoot. We miss. They grab the defensive rebound. We get back in transition defense. Once we get here, we're matched up. Boom, boom, boom. We are set into our defense, right? Now, what can the next one be? If we're keeping the same concept, we get a stop. We get a defensive rebound. Now we're getting ready to go back up the court. What can this phase right here be called? Us sprinting up the court and trying to get an easy basket. Hey, you got it. That is transition offense. Okay? That is the transition offense. So here in your transition offense, you decide, okay, do I have a big body? Can I send a big body to the front of the rim to maybe get a jump shot? Maybe get a shot at the rim right here. Do we sprint to the corners? Do we set pick and roll early in our shot clock, transitioning, right? So usually transition offense is going to be the first 7 seconds that you have in transition are going to be a major key of what it is that you want to do in transition offense. So I'm going to keep it at that. But what we have to understand is these 4 phases in the game of basketball: offense, transition defense, defense, and transition offense. Throughout the course of a game, you will always, always, always be in one of these 4 phases. And every one of these phases necessitate for you to make a lot of quick decisions.
All right, so jumping into our brain juice section, preparation. We talked about preparation. Preparation is super important. A saying that I like a lot is failing to prepare is preparing to fail, which means that when we go into situations, the more we can be prepared to something, the higher our chances of being successful are. So I will go with a basketball example. I have to present scouts to teams sometimes, right? And one thing that I learned early in my career is when I got to present the video or just the paper scout, teaching our players, okay, you have to, this is the tendencies of this specific player, how are they, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. One thing that I learned from that is you want to read and rehearse your information. Remember how in high school or elementary school, we had those oral presentations, you have to repeat just for you to be able to prepare? Well, yeah, it's practice. So preparing before the actual event creates this calm in your body, which makes you which increases your chances of actually performing well when the task comes. Because we all know there's this thing called pressure. And a lot of the times when we put pressure on ourselves is because we haven't gone through the process of practicing. I'm going to call it practicing. We haven't gone through the process of practicing enough, which doesn't lead to us having comfort going into that pressured situation. Okay. So preparation. We talk a lot about our process. Our process are all different. We all learn differently. We all prepare differently. For some people, whether it's an oral presentation in school, you just got to read it, and then you're going to be good with it. For other people, maybe you got to be able to say it in front of a crowd, right? Maybe you have to get a couple friends and just rehearse it in front of them. For others, some people just get it. Everybody's different. It takes a big amount of you figuring yourself out what works better for you to be able to maximize and fine tune your preparation going into certain situation. Okay. Why is it important? It just provides a calm, right? When you got to visualize when you're going into something that is stressful, something that you don't know what the unknown is going to be. Preparing makes you have this calm in your body, right? For the calm mostly in your mind, and you're able to go into that situation and just allow yourself to live the experience and be okay with it. And be okay with things not always being 100%. Because one thing that I learned personally, it's as a perfectionist, I always think like, oh, if I don't do it this way, there could have been another better way to be able to do it. But the reality is, if you don't just try it, it's very hard to just determine that, well, this was the right way, this was the wrong way. Because if you really think about it, you will never know, right? The method that you use or the preparation that you use in that specific situation was the right way because the one that you use. Because two things are going to happen for it. One, you're going to have success, and now you could continue building on that success. Or two, things don't go the right way. Well, now what happens is that you create a situation where you understand that the solution that you use cannot be used again, right? So either way, it's a win-win, but you got to be able to shift your perspective and really allow yourself to live these experiences. Let's give a little gym example, because on my fitness journey, going to the gym was something that was very hard for me. I found myself being on my phone, wasting a lot of time, not being as productive as I wish I could have been. So in that situation, for me personally, I had to take away what was not allowing me to be as productive. Okay. So for me in that situation, it was the phone. It was just having a phone. I'm on Instagram. I'm giving you guys the real stuff. Like, I had a lot of times where I was like, okay, I was wasting all my time. So I had to take out the time. And then what I started doing was I started writing my workout down on a piece of paper, right? I write the workout down on a piece of paper so that I take away the distraction. I take away the distraction from the environment. Now I'm going through my workout with nothing that could basically distract me, or less distractions, right? So just things like that. If let's say I have a big day tomorrow, I'm giving you guys another example. Example number 2. If let's say I have a big day tomorrow, right? And let's say I'm going to school. How can I prepare for my day to go to school? Well, preparing doesn't necessarily have to be in the same day. I tell my athletes this: if you want to make your lift, if tomorrow we lift at 6 a.m., you want to make that lift better, go to sleep at a reasonable time. Like, treat everything like everything is linked in. We got to really understand that the decisions that we make in life, one decision you make in life is going to affect the next thing, right? So me not going to bed at a certain time, and I know I got to wake up early in the morning, is going to mess up that action that I have to do early in the morning. So preparation is super key. And that's something that I'm continuing to work on. I'm continuing to improve on. Yeah. And I think it's definitely something that if we all pay attention to it, try some of the stuff out. Fire away some ideas. Let me know if there are some other things that you do, right, to get prepared for a certain situation, and we could talk about it. But preparation, guys. Preparation is going to be the key. Don't forget, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I really, really, really appreciate it. If you did enjoy it, please leave a review, give us 5 stars. We like stars over here. Thank you so much to Antonia for the discussion that we had. I'll make sure to link her social in the description below. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you guys next week. And remember, guys, every day is a chance to change your life. Don't waste an opportunity. Boom!